Do you have a fear of sex? Do you currently experience painful sex with your husband? Do you want to find out more about vaginismus? Or are you feeling nervous about getting married because you're anxious about the wedding night? Did you get married and expect to lose your virginity on your wedding night, but it didn't quite happen that way? Or maybe every time your husband's penis tries to enter your vagina, you find it too painful, so you tell him to stop, but then you both end up getting really frustrated. If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you're in the right place, because in this video, I'll be talking all about vaginismus. I'll also be talking about some of the causes of vaginismus so that you can get started in your journey to either overcome vaginismus or prevent it from happening to you. So if you're excited to learn more about this, definitely hit the like button below to let me know. I'd also love for you to stay until the end so that I can let you know how you can receive free access to my online course called First Time Sex, Fear No More. Now, before we get into the video, I just wanted to welcome you to my channel. If you're new here, I post videos on sex and intimacy in the context of marriage. So if you're interested in this topic, definitely hit the subscribe button below and remember to hit the bell icon so that you're notified each time I post a new video. So I personally suffered with vaginismus at the beginning of my marriage. I got married over 10 years ago, and on my wedding night, I expected to go from being a virgin to not being one, but it didn't quite happen that way for me. The very first time that my husband's penis tried to enter my vagina, it felt like it was hitting a brick wall. It felt like it couldn't go in, and it was really very painful. It almost felt like my vagina didn't actually have a hole, which I know sounds really weird. And at the time when I was going through this, I had absolutely no idea what was wrong with me. So unfortunately, we didn't get to experience sexual intercourse on our wedding night, and we actually tried many times after that, and the same thing kept happening. So I had no idea that what I was experiencing was a condition called vaginismus. So we lived with this for over a year, trying and failing, trying and attempting to have intercourse, and it just didn't really ever work. It was so painful. I couldn't accept his penis into my vagina, and we just both ended up getting really frustrated with each other, and it definitely put a huge strain on our marriage. So one day when I pretty much couldn't take it anymore, I went online and started looking for solutions to painful sex or the causes of painful sex. And I came across a term known as vaginismus. And when I started reading about what vaginismus actually is, I felt such a huge sense of relief that there's an actual medical term for this condition that I was going through. I felt so relieved to know that what I had was called vaginismus. I then started looking at how to treat vaginismus, how to overcome vaginismus, and I managed to treat myself. I managed to overcome my own vaginismus. And even more importantly, what I do now, more than 10 years later, what I do now is I help women to overcome their vaginismus. And my mission really is to also help women to prevent vaginismus from happening to them. So you may be wondering, what is vaginismus? What actually is it? So vaginismus is a condition that causes the muscles surrounding the vagina to contract really tightly in a subconscious way. This means it happens automatically without the woman realizing that it's happening. When those muscles that surround the vagina, they're called the pelvic floor muscles. When they contract really tightly in that subconscious way, it causes the vagina to become really narrow. And this makes insertion by any object, whether it's a penis or a tampon or a dilator or a speculum when a woman goes for her cervical smear test, it makes penetration by any object impossible. So that's what vaginismus is. It's where the pelvic floor muscles, the muscles that surround the vagina, contract really tightly in a subconscious automatic way, causing the vagina to be really narrow and therefore causing penetration or insertion of any object to be really painful and really difficult. So you may be wondering, what are some of the causes of vaginismus? The first thing that I want to say is that vaginismus is not a physical abnormality. Vaginismus is known as a mind-body response. So it starts at the level of the mind or the brain, psychologically or mentally, and produces an effect physically in the woman's physiology, in the muscles in her body. And vaginismus usually occurs in a woman when she is afraid of anything penetrating her vagina. So I'd love for you at this point to let me know in the comments if you think that you have a fear of sex, or if you know that you have a fear of sex. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you have a fear of anything penetrating your vagina, and also let me know if you believe that you have vaginismus. So let's talk a little bit more about some other causes of vaginismus. As I mentioned earlier, vaginismus, the main cause of vaginismus is the fear of something penetrating the vagina. Now, where does that fear actually come from? It can come from many different sources. I'll talk about me personally, and then I'll talk about other sources that I've experienced with my clients. So for me personally, my fear of sexual intercourse, my fear of something penetrating my vagina came from me hearing horror stories when I was growing up. Horror stories about sex and how first time sex is so painful for the woman, horror stories about how there's meant to be blood on the sheets, horror stories about the hymen breaking. All of these are kind of myths, but I believed them because they were stories that I heard growing up, and that caused a deeply ingrained fear related to sex. Some of the other causes of vaginismus in women could be a strict upbringing, especially from a religious point of view. It could be past sexual abuse, although just to quickly point out, in terms of sexual abuse, a woman doesn't have to have had experienced sexual abuse in order to have vaginismus. That applies to me personally. Thank God I never experienced sexual abuse growing up. And for many of the women I work with, they never had sexual abuse either. But I know that if a woman did experience sexual abuse, she does have a higher chance of having vaginismus now, although it's not a prerequisite to have vaginismus. You don't have to have had sexual abuse in order to have vaginismus. So just to quickly point that out there. Some of the other causes are things like a fear of pregnancy, negative messages about sex and the female body, violence in the home, either as a child or maybe violence in the home right now where the woman has an abusive partner. Other things are where the woman has a fear of giving up control, or she lacks trust in the relationship, doesn't want to be vulnerable in the relationship. Other causes are things like possibly seeing sexual imagery as a child, or where a woman is holding on so tightly to her identity as a virgin because she grew up hearing positive messages about being a virgin, and even though she's married now, she's struggling to give up that identity. So I hope you found that beneficial, where I've given you some of the causes of vaginismus. So you now know more about what vaginismus is, and you know some of the causes. So maybe this video has confirmed to you that you do have vaginismus, or maybe this video has confirmed to you that you have a fear of sex and vaginismus is something that you want to overcome or something that you want to prevent from happening to you. So if that does apply to you, if you either want to overcome your vaginismus or you want to prepare for sex on your wedding night and you want to stop feeling nervous and anxious about it, then I have a free online mini course that I've created for you. This course is called First Time Sex, Fear No More, and it's designed to help women overcome or prevent vaginismus without using dilators and without going for expensive specialist treatment. So if you'd like to access this free online mini course, definitely check out the link in the description box below. So I hope you enjoyed this video and found benefit from it. If you did benefit from it and you enjoyed it, please do hit the thumbs up button below to let me know that you liked it and to let me know that I should be creating more videos just like this. So next time I'll be posting a video all about how to actually overcome vaginismus. So if you're interested in that, definitely hit the subscribe button, and also don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you're notified when I release that video. So that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care.